What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy, and on this channel we talk about audio, video, and tech. And in this week's episode, we are talking about my favorite accessories for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and why I think these accessories will help you get the most out of this camera. Roll the intro. Alright guys, this is kind of a follow-up to my last video, which was all about why I think the Blackmagic Pocket 4K is still a fantastic buy in 2022 and why it holds up to some of the new cameras and still competes spec-wise to the newer cameras that are out. If you haven't watched that video, I will put a link in the description so that you can go check that out. But this week's video, I wanted to kind of expand on that a little bit and talk about the accessories that are available that will really help you get the most out of this camera. Now, I'm not gonna be one of those people on YouTube that tells you that you need to go out and fully rig this thing out to make it usable, because that's absolutely not true. Honestly, you could just run and gun with this camera handheld, just as it is. Just the lens, the camera, and either an SD card or a CFast card, and that you could absolutely do that. I don't think that everybody needs to run out and buy all these accessories and create this crazy massive rig with this camera, because it is called the Pocket 4K, right? The idea is that it's supposed to be small, easy to move around, and easy to use on the fly. With that being said, some people will want to rig this camera out, and some won't. But let's talk about some accessories that'll work maybe for both of those categories. And yeah, let's start with my first one. So the first accessory that I picked up for this camera that I think is insanely usable is this small cheese plate. I don't honestly even know the brand of this. It's not smallrig or mighty rig or anything. I don't know. I don't remember the brand of this, but I will find it and put it in the link or put it in the description below. But if you're one of those people that do not want to go out and buy this big old cage for this camera, this right here is fantastic. It actually just screws onto the top of the camera. Just like that. It screws onto the one mounting point that this camera has, and now you've got the ability to add, you've got a cold shoe, you've got a NATO rail, and then you've got a bunch of other options to connect external microphones, monitors, external drives. So now you've taken this one point for mounting and kind of expanded it, and it doesn't add any sort of weight to the camera. It doesn't add any bulk to the camera. But if you're one of those people that do not want to run this thing with a cage, this is a great option. This is super cheap. They're like between $10 and $20, and it is a great addition to this camera to give you some mounting points. So my first accessory would be this mounting cheese plate for the camera. Yeah, definitely check it out if you don't want to do a cage with this camera. All right, the next accessory then is the cage. If you're one of the people that do want to add a cage to this, you've got a couple of different options to do so. Now, there's a lot of different brands, but really there's two main flavors. You can add a full cage, which is going to give you the cage all the way around the camera, or you can do what I chose to do and go with the half cage option, and it just gives you a cage on the outer half of the camera. The reason that I chose to do so is it kept the weight manageable for me. It still gives you a lot of options on mounting. The big reason that I got it is because it comes with a quick release plate for the bottom of this camera, so you're able to take the cage, I can slide the camera right into the rig, and boom, now it's in the cage, ready to go. And say this was mounted on a tripod and you wanted to pull the camera right off and do some handheld stuff, boom. Now you've got the camera handheld, and all your accessories stay in place here. And again, so that you can just come right back, put the camera right back into the cage, and you're good to go. So that, I think, is a fantastic option for people that want a cage. It gives you a NATO rail on top here. You've got your cold shoe mount, tons of cheese plate mounting options on the side and the back here. So lots and lots of options. Great cage. This cage is by smallrig. There are other companies that make it as well, but again, I will leave the link in the description for this cage. You can't talk about cages without talking about handles. My next accessory that I think is fantastic for really any camera is a top handle. Now, there are a lot of options for top handles. There are ones that mount directly to the camera or the cage. This option is the NATO rail option, which I really love because it allows you to slide on and off the camera cage really quick. So if you take your cage, it just slides on the top here, tighten the screw down, and now you've got your top handle on, no problem. If you don't want it on, there you go, it's off. So for me, the accessories that, when I'm looking for accessories, I'm looking for things that I can put on and take off the camera quickly. If you have to fumble around with, Allen screws and pulling things apart and it's taking forever, to me that's not super usable. For some people it might be. I like to be able to do everything super modular. I want to be able to take accessories on and off quickly and not slow me down in my workflow. And the NATO rail handle does that. They do have, again, several options on the NATO rail handle. Going back, I would have gotten one of the handles that allow you to rotate the handle 360 degrees. So that way, if you wanted to mount it on the side of something, like you could mount it this way, it would have allowed you to do that. This one, the handle only mounts the one way, so it only slides in like that. I can't mount it this way. So if you were going to pick up a handle and you wanted that option, there are options that you are able to turn the handle all the way around. But again, the NATO rail option is really great because of how easy it is to take on and off the camera or the cage. So definitely look into picking up a top handle. Again, this is a Smagic rig.
This is a Smagic rig.
So a kind of like a knockoff small rig handle, but I'm sure I bought it because it was much cheaper and it's just metal. They do the same thing anyway. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. Okay, the next thing up is storage options. This is the Samsung T5 1 terabyte drive. Incredibly popular drives to run with the Blackmagic cameras because they have a very fast read and write speed. So you can shoot in any compression, any frame rate, any resolution, and you don't have any problems with the camera or the drive kind of choking out on speed. If you would be running on anything that is not a V90 SD, you can probably record in the higher compression settings, but you're probably not going to be able to get up into the higher frame rates without it just stopping recording. This allows you to record any format on this camera whatsoever. It's incredibly lightweight, it's incredibly small, and I like that I can pull it right off my rig, plug it right into the computer, and edit off this drive as well. So you're not worried, you don't have to dump footage back and forth. You can edit right off the drive that you record on. So to me, this is really, really awesome. The other options for storage on the Blackmagic are SD cards and CFast cards. Those are expensive for the ones that will be fast enough to work with the camera. These are actually really affordable, and you can find a ton of them on eBay used for 75, 80 bucks. So it's going to be the most affordable storage option for the Blackmagic. Now, if we're talking about the drives, the next accessory that I would say to look at is a mounting plate for the SSD. This is by Condor Blue. Everybody makes one. SmallRig has them, Tilta has them. I kind of liked the way that this one held the drive. It actually holds the drive more in the middle of the drive, whereas the SmallRig ones just kind of hold the end. I like that this thing kind of slides all the way in, and it actually holds it more in the middle of the drive, so when it's mounted on top of the camera, it just feels a little more secure to me, and it balances a little bit better. It also has this clamp. You just tighten it down so that the cable can't be pulled out. But then this can be mounted on either that cheese plate that I showed earlier, or again, a full or a half cage. And there you go. Now you've got your storage all taken care of, and it looks nice being mounted. So there you go. Right, so one big weakness about the Blackmagic is its battery life. As I talked about in the last video, the battery life on these things are terrible. So my next accessory that I think makes this incredibly usable is adding yourself some sort of an external battery. The way I choose to run is I choose to use one of these SmallRig NPF style mounting plates. With the rails, I can actually just mount this to the back of the camera here. I can take my NPF style battery and it plugs right in on the back here. Makes the weight nice and balanced between the lens. and this will supply about 2 hours worth of power for the camera with the power cable that you can run from here into the camera. And again, I like it a little bit better than a V-mount. V-mount batteries are huge and expensive. These things are like 25 bucks, these MPF batteries. I also get the ones that have the DC output tap on the back, and then it also has a battery meter as well when you hit this, so you can always see how much battery you have left. So again, external power source, really great option for them, really affordable for the cameras. So again, that would be my next accessory that makes this camera more usable. The very last accessory that I'm going to share is the follow focus. This is a Tilta Mini follow focus. These are all over the place. I bought this one off of eBay used for like 50 bucks, I think. They're only 100 bucks new. But I really like the grip, the wheel on this. It's got a good, it just feels nice when you turn it. It's really smooth. I like the hard stops that it has. Some people take these off, but I like the hard stops to set my focus. You know, you can use them as a quick way to rack focus. So the hard stops I think are a nice touch. But again, because this camera does not have continuous autofocus, you know, reaching down and turning the focus wheel on the lens is going to increase a lot of vibration into the shot. Whereas this, you can hold it by the top handle, you can turn without creating any extra shake or jitters. So for me, on this camera, a follow focus is really helpful. Again, maybe it's not absolutely necessary. Maybe you're really steady and you can pull focus from this focus ring just fine. Great, don't worry about it. I don't always use the follow focus, but it's a really great accessory to have, and again, a very affordable accessory to add to the camera. So if you're somebody that likes doing rack focusing, or you want to be able to pull focus right on the fly, you know, the Tilta one's great. SmallRig makes one super similar as well, and they're all in the same price range. But do yourself a favor, look on eBay. You can find them used all the time, and I was able to pick mine up used. So again, it makes the whole rig super affordable. It seems like a lot of accessories, but when you piece it out, they're not expensive accessories. You're not spending $300-400 on any of these accessories. You know, you might spend 20 or 30 bucks at a time. Again, maybe up to 75 bucks, 50 bucks for the follow focus, but everything else is super affordable. The cages are getting cheaper all the time as well. The half cage, again, is a little bit cheaper than the full cage. So there's tons of options, but this right here is a super compact, super usable, capable rig. And that's really all I want to do, is just share some things with you guys that you can add to this camera that make it super usable, but know that you don't have to. Just using the cheese plate that I showed at the very beginning and a couple little add-ons, this camera is super powerful, and sometimes I just use it that way. Cheese plate on top, maybe a monitor and a microphone, and we're good to go. So don't think you have to run out and buy tons and tons of accessories for this. It works great handheld as well. But yeah, that's all I got. If you guys found the video helpful and you liked the video, please like and subscribe down below. That really helps me out. I get just like so excited when I see that, when I get a new subscriber or somebody liked a video, or that's awesome. That's a great feeling. So really appreciate it if you guys did that. And if you have some other things that you find super helpful as far as camera accessories, doesn't have to be for the 4K, it could be any camera. Leave it in the comments below. Tell me the things that you found that when you're out shooting, there's an accessory that really changed the way that you worked or made life a little easier on you. I'd love to know about it, because maybe it's something out there that I'm not even aware of. I stumble across things all the time on YouTube or Googling. So, you know, share the wealth, share the knowledge, drop a comment down below. If there's anything else you want to see on this channel, any other kind of videos, please let me know as well. This is still a very new channel. I'm working on figuring it all out still. And any feedback you guys have would be great. Let me know what I can do better, what things that you like on the channel. That always helps. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys found the information helpful, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. See ya.